A-League match, which he played recently for the Mariners. He's an 11-time New Zealand international who debuted at Perth in 2013 before time on the Central Coast and at Melbourne Victory. Overall today, it will be A-League men's match number 225 for Storm Roux this afternoon. Well, Corey Brown back in the A-League for the first time in 617 days after he won the appeal against his controversial 2022 sacking from the club. And since Ross Aloisi has taken over this year, he's been keen to get him back to full fitness and into the starting side. Louis Zabala missing out with a knee injury today. Mark Jackson said pre-game he wants to see the fighting spirit from the Mariners he saw in Bali replicated at home as they chase an end to their worst start to an A-League men's season. And Ross Aloisi has continued to put the emphasis on being brave for this Brisbane Roar side, playing their brand of high-intensity attacking football, whether it is at home or away. Jonathan Barrero in charge of his 78th A-League men's match. And we're just about ready to go here in Gosford. The Mariners chasing an end to their worst ever start in A-League history. It's quite staggering, isn't it, after they were the champions in June. The only previous champion who has come back the next season and gone winless in their first four was actually Brisbane Roar. And it's they who get us underway here. The Mariners chasing their first league win of the season against a Roar side keen to bounce back from a heavy defeat in Wellington. Phil Moss, this shapes as an absolute cracker to finish off the weekend.
Great to be alongside you for this one, Benny. It's always good to see the Mariners at home in Gosford. But gee, there is a lot on the line today. As you said, their worst ever start, and it could become their worst, the worst start in A-League history by a defending champion if they don't get the result today. And Brisbane Roar, as you said, the wounded beast from last week in Wellington, they will be out to prove a point in their bounce-back ability today.
Mile Uznic taking on Tulio. Berenguer spreads the pass to an offside, Nikola Mile Uznic. So, as you mentioned, Mossy, Brisbane trying to pull the Mariners back to go level with them on that statistic in terms of worst start to the following season for the defending champions. Brisbane 14-15. They lost 4 straight to begin the new season. Mariners currently sitting at 3 at the moment, but they have shown promising signs. They're top of their group in the AFC Cup. And a big win over Bali United during the week, not by scoreline, but in terms of importance, away from home after a big road trip.
Yeah, and they showed a lot of resilience because a lot of pundits. Oh, that's a welcome back to the A-League, Corey Brown. Christian Theoharis going right through the back of him. There it is there. That can hurt too. With the knee right into the thigh of Corey Brown. But just going back to that game in Bali, it was certainly in a lot of ways a lucky win for the Mariners, but you make your own luck. They showed resilience, there's no doubt about that, and to Mark Jackson's points pre-game, you know, they really had to dig in and show that grit and that fight. It's not an easy place to go to play football. A lot easier to go if you're going to a resort to share a few cocktails, but they were there for business and they came away with the 3 points.
Hoare throwing the pass out to Berenguer. Little slip from Farrell allows the Frenchman some space. Hoare swiveling and straight into the arms of Danny Vukovic.
Well, he'd done all the hard work really well there, Henry Hoare. twisted, turned, found his half a yard to get the cross in, and then just didn't give it enough. In the end, it was easy pickings for Danny Vukovic. Right idea, he just didn't execute it after laying the groundwork. A positive start from Brisbane.
Time.
Good to see Corey Brown up and moving freely after that earlier challenge from Thea Harris.
Tom Aldred whipping it forward to Max Ballard, who's given it away to Jay O'Shea. Driving forward, finding Milajuznic. Tight angle for Milajuznic, but the deflection very nearly nestled inside the far post.
Oh, they're tricky, those ones. Danny Vukovic was well placed if the shot had gone straight to him. The deflection had him just scurrying just slightly, wondering whether it was going to sneak inside that far post. There it is there. There would have been nothing he could have done about it. In the end, it went to the safety of a corner, if you like.
Short corner from Brisbane. O'Shea for the head of Caltac. And now Tulio. And O'Shea unable to keep it from crossing the sideline, and it's a great time to head down to the sideline. Glenn Lauder, good afternoon.
Yeah, it is a great afternoon on the sideline. Benny, good afternoon. What an afternoon it is for these lucky winners of a local radio station activation. Look at them, they've got the picnic blankets out, they've got the eskies and the food. Outstanding stuff. What a place to watch the football from. They're in the shade, out in the sunshine. It is a bit warmer, around about 26 degrees, feels like temperature with the humidity, but nothing compared to what the side experienced on Wednesday night. I was speaking to Danny Vukovic just before the game. He said that those conditions in Bali were among the toughest he has ever experienced. So, given the road trip, it'll be interesting to see how the Mariners' legs run out this game.
Thanks, Glenn. Yeah, I understand they got back Friday, and it's not a whole lot of recovery time, is it, from the humidity of Bali and Brisbane. They came back from Wellington, so a bit of a road trip for them, but they've had a full week to get themselves ready for this one.
Yeah, any trip to Asia when you're navigating midweek games and weekend games is really tough. Don't look at the number of hours in the air. That's only a very small part of the story. It's the waiting time at airports, it's the ground travel when you get there, it's the different conditions, the hotel. All those things play into how you recover and how you turn up on the weekend. Which points to the fact, Ben, that the Mariners will be after a fast start here. They'll want to get on the scoreboard, and certainly get on the scoreboard first, because that gives energy. It will be an important ingredient to today if they're going to get this result.
Well, the biggest issue affecting Brisbane at the moment, Corey Brown, the beneficiary of that, is unfortunately for them, a whole bunch of knee injuries. We know they've been training at a lot of different venues this season. The Raw, just going through the injury list, Markovski, Reardon, Hingett, Zabala, all out with knee injuries. Short term, Markovski looking at a month, and Carlo Armiento out with a groin problem. So some concerns for Brisbane and their squad depth at the moment. And Nikola Milajuznic is back to his feet, which is a relief for Raw fans.
Yeah, it's certainly no good when the players are having to change surfaces daily, weekly, and that certainly doesn't help. That's a lot of injuries to have in the treatment room. I know Zach Anderson and Casper Tafter were doing everything to change that from a point of view of training grounds. And you've seen your management at the Raw. That needs to be fixed quick, smart.
Yeah, Harris's strength just on show there, and he's done enough to earn his side a set piece. Win probability in favour of the Mariners. Interesting, must be based on recent history, because Brisbane hold this advantage historically. It's quite staggering. 33-11 the head-to-heads down the years with 14 draws, but the Mariners have won the last 4 straight And they'd love a goal here, the defending champions. Farrell's header, beat away by Aldred. Tulio's ball inviting. Extremely inviting for Alu Kuol, who was looking for another goal after he scored in the Cup on Wednesday night.
Well, first of all, what about that for a first touch? And then I think he catches everyone by surprise there. He just whips it across into a dangerous area for Kuol to attack. Neville was caught a little bit flat-footed. Wonderful delivery from Tulio.
Can you believe it, Mossy? The Mariners, so free-flowing last season. They have not led in the A-League men's competition this season.
Remarkable, isn't it? Goes to show things can change very quickly in football. And of course, the mitigating circumstances with Nick Montgomery leaving on the eve of the season. There wasn't a lot of time to find a replacement. Mark Jackson comes in, doesn't have a lot of time to work with the squad. A lot of turnover in the dressing room as well. But still, at the end of the day, it's the Mariners who are the defending champions. And 0 from 3 is not going to be acceptable on the coast.
Farrell brought down from behind by Milayuznic. But I just think opportunities for the Mariners to get some confidence back in those AFC Cup matches haven't been able to correspond with their A-League men's fixtures. It's almost staggering, isn't it, how it operates. You do well in a cup competition and sometimes it doesn't always translate into the league.
Well, look at Sydney FC, case in point with the Australia Cup as well.
Another set piece here. Good territory here for the Mariners. Change up. Tulio to Kuol. And Kaltak was making a late run at the back post. Well, it wasn't a bad training ground move there from the Mariners.
Well, that's quite remarkable. Great delivery in the end. The lead up to that was obviously very distracting from a Brisbane point of view, because you can't allow the ball to bounce in those areas. Brilliant delivery and a chance gone begging for the Mariners. It's an easy tap in if the timing of the runs were spot on.
Towards Brown, just a little bobble maybe off the surface. Ross Aloisi has spoken this week about the intent from Brisbane Roar, the braveness, how he wants them to always look to play forward. He said it has taken a little bit of work to change those habits. We know Brisbane in the last few seasons had a much more defensive approach to the game. Look at that. There's the stat, bang on in these opening 11.5 minutes.
Yeah, I think we've seen plenty of evidence of that as well. Maybe not as consistently well as Ross would like in these early stages, but it takes time to embed that. You can work on the training pitch during pre-season, but really it comes down to the match day mindset of the players to execute. And if you think back to the Australia Cup final, they were very good in the first half against Sydney FC. That result could have gone another way. So they've definitely shown in patches that they're adopting the coach's philosophy.
You just see some of these players look reinvigorated, the likes of Milayuznic, Henry Hoare, Lachlan Freak, finding Coletti, one of the new recruits from Tochigi City, came back into the A-League from Japanese lower leagues this season. And this man, Berongen, what a signing. Player of the Year at Melbourne City 2 years ago. Best team in the league over the course of that season, and he was their best player. And here he is, looking forward. Finding O'Shea. Shifting it out to Corey Brown, who's curling it in the waiting arms of Danny Vukovic.
Yeah, he just didn't have the angle he was looking for there, Corey Brown.
And here's a nice release to Alu Kuol. He's got Tulio in the middle. Kuol takes on his man. finds Tulio. Well blocked by Aldred. Terrific release from Danny Vukovic.
Yeah, brilliant example of turning defence into attack from the goalkeeper, the experienced former Socceroo, Vukovic, and didn't Qual do well in a one-on-one situation. Just drag the ball, drop the shoulder, and deliver it into a good area, just slightly behind Tulio.
O'Shea pinched it back for Brisbane. Berenguer to Hoare. Henry Hoare. Coletti. High Truan hasn't scored in the A-League. Decides to find Corey Brown, whose pass straight to Max Ballard. It all just seemed to get a little narrow for Brisbane there.
Yeah, it certainly did. And they rushed the pass and forced it, gave the ball away.
And the whistle goes the way of the home side. He's changed his decision. I think he meant to blow the free kick to the Central Coast. He pointed as if it was a Brisbane free kick, and well, he's come up with the decision in the end, which has pleased the home fans.
And Jay O'Shea was going to take it too, thank you very much. He wasn't handing the ball over. But a good open feel again to this game. We've seen some great games in these opening rounds of the A-League this season. Plenty of goals. Saw another thriller this afternoon earlier today in Melbourne. Long may it continue.
Oh, how good is it? How good is this season of the A-League? We're seeing so many young players stand up and thrive, along with the sprinkle of experience in that shot. Corey Brown and Storm Rue. The experienced boys going around.
Yeah, great to see Stormy honoured before kick-off with his 150th for the Mariners. Had a lot to do with him up there when I was there as Arnie's assistant, then when I took over. He's gone on to forge a fantastic career for himself, both at club and international level.
Aldred frustrated. He wants players moving into space in front of him. Had to go back to Freak, and we know what happened last week against Wellington. There were a few nervy moments. He set up a goal for Oscar Zavada, and then in the second half almost scored an own goal, and he mentioned that in his post-game interview. He needed to be better in that area. Gary Wilkins, medal winner, Brisbane's Player of the Year last year. Thea Harris has not won the throw. Thought it may have come off Corey Brown there, but referee and assistant thought differently. Oh, how about that from O'Shea? I know he doesn't get the result in the end, but the close ball control, just a joy to watch there from Jay O'Shea.
Oh, he's a wonderful player. He really is. He moves with such grace. The ball is glued to his foot. And he is, as it stands, the top passer of the ball into the opposition box with 37 passes. And he's top of the pops in the A-League.
Farrell dazzling down the left. Truan comes in. It spills for Tulio. Thea Harris is free at the back post. Tulio trying to do it all himself, and in the end the white shirts got in the way. And then the flick on. Smith. And just behind Alu Qual. And now a chance here for Brisbane, because Farrell was up for that attack. And Mile Jusnic, this is just a canter for him. Links with Hoare. Waddingham. And Farrell has it back for the Mariners.
Well, what about that from Jacob Farrell? A recovery run to defend the situation after the week he's had. All the travel, showing no signs of early fatigue. And a great mindset to work hard for his side. Some good end-to-end stuff here in transition both ways.
Can you believe we've gone 17 minutes, Mossy?
Sign of a good game. Flying by.
Thea Harris looks up, sees O'Shea, comes back into the starting side. Didn't start against Bali on Wednesday night. Coletti to Aldred. missed it pre-game. Corey Brown back in the A-League for the first time in 617 days. His last match was here in Gosford for the Raw against the Mariners. And Brisbane, the visitors, controlling all the possession. O'Shea slipping it in front of Henry Hawke. Caltac comes across, and it was a strong tackle from the Vanuatu international.
Gee, he had to get that absolutely spot on. He went to ground very early there, Brian Caltac. When you do that, you give the referee a decision to make. First glance, I'm happy with the call from Jonathan Barrero.
L.A. Uznic keeps it inside. Berenguer! The Raw lead on the road. And it's their Frenchman, Florent Berenguer, who scores in back-to-back matches. And the champions, well, they're going to have to come from behind if they want to get something out of this one.
Well, in the end, a very simple finish for Florent Berenguer. We know the class of this player, but the controversy on the Harvey Norman replay, that's clearly onside, will be right here. Did the ball cross the line? Brian Caltac stops, which for all young players is a trap. You never stop playing until the whistle goes. And then it's a simple tap in, but I think there's too many Mariners that switch off there expecting the flag to go up and the whistle to go. Will be checked by VAR, of course.
Do you think, Mossy, they were watching the Newcastle-Western United match yesterday, where, of course, something similar happened, but on that occasion it was very clear that the ball had crossed the byline as Western United celebrated the goal, which was soon chalked off. But on that occasion, from the naked eye, it looked as though you could not be definitive that the ball had fully, the whole sphere of the ball, had crossed onto the other side of the line.
No, of course, to be sure of it, we're going to see here the replay. Well, for me, that's out.
Oh, no, here we go.
For me, that's out.
Here we go. Now, we've seen, I think Gary Neville did it. Yeah. Robbie Slater did it as well, where they show you the ball. It might look like it's out, but it isn't.
It's the whole sphere of the ball. I understand it's not watching contact with the ground. There you go.
And that's the decision they're making. So, Ross Aloisi very quiet. He's not saying anything. Mark Jackson quite the opposite. So, Mossy, you think, what do you think?
On that slow motion replay, the first instinct was the whole of the ball was out, but the angle could be deceiving. It's a wrong angle to make that call from, in my opinion, but from what I saw, I thought the ball was out.
All right, well, I'm sure anyone that watches that will have a view one way or the other, and not everyone will be the same. So it's certainly going to be a flashpoint, a talking point over the weekend.
Well, up until that point, it was probably the Mariners with the better chances. Brisbane are ahead on the score sheet.
And once again, Mossy, the Mariners can see the first goal. Have not led in a match in the A-League this season. Nisbet, lovely pass. Tulio, and he got clipped late. Barrero playing advantage. Alu Kuol lost out, but it spills for Thea Harris. Allard sends it the way of Nisbet. You just wonder whether Barrero will come back for a yellow card. If he deems the challenge was reckless, he can come back and give a yellow card. If it wasn't, he can't come back just for a cynical challenge. So we'll wait and see at the next stoppage. Aldred dwells on possession. Freak gets him out of jail. Mariners just applying the squeeze, and here it is. So yellow card is going to come out. He's just working out where the offending party is, and it's Tom Aldred who goes into the book.
It's usually the player that moves the furthest away from the referee in those situations. Tom Aldred hoping that he was going to get away with it.
And important to note that rule, Mossy, because if the referee plays advantage and it's just deemed as a cynical challenge, say a shirt pull or something like that, there's no yellow card. But if it's a dangerous challenge that is worth a yellow card usually, then it is a yellow ticket.
Well, that's 100% worth a yellow card. Tom Aldred flying in on Tullio, collecting him on the top of the foot, the ankle.
I just wonder whether Barrero's receiving any further counsel here from the VAR. I think he was, yeah. Lara Lee just giving it a double check, make sure there wasn't an upgrade, and we're good to go. Well, lots happened in these opening 23 and a bit minutes. It's been a dramatic afternoon in the Isuzu Ute A-League. Henry Hoare. A-League match number 50 for him, finding Berenguer. And that stat, and the one we saw a little earlier around forward passes, just shows you the philosophy of Brisbane under Ross Aloisi. They want to play this kind of football home and away. They don't want to change it based on the venue they're at, as you sometimes see from teams. Nisbet up against Coletti. Two of the smallest frames in this competition, going head-to-head in midfield today. Two talented young players.
And here it is, the most controversial moment of the first half, and that does show with the lines that the ball is in fact in. Happy to be proven wrong always. It does show that the whole of the sphere of the ball was not out of play, to your point, Ben Homer.
How good is it to have a physics lesson on a Sunday afternoon of football?
It was never my strong point in high school.
There might be some former HSC students having some hot sweats thinking back to that exam. As Tullio gets a deflection, which is going to favour Noah Smith. Farrell going to take on Mileusnic. Little stumble, and he's done well, Nikola Mileusnic. He wins a throw, much to the frustration of Farrell. Himself caught in a tight spot there. Letty and Brown angles this pass, but it's pull one straight to Caltac, and then gives it straight back to Brisbane. O'Shea looking for the run of Henry Hoare, skips off the surface, but Caltac is quick. He is super fast. Brian Caltac got himself in a great position there to win the free kick.
Not just fast, but powerful as well. The way he defends, I love the way he plays the game. Always seems to defend on the front foot, be aggressive. It's been a revelation for the Mariners, but also the A-League. Fantastic addition to their competition.
Ballard is able to skew the pass in front of Tullio. Mariners rushing forward in front of him. Scoops it over the top, looking for Smith, and Trewin just lost his footing, but by that point Smith had given up on the play.
I thought he'd made a good run to start with there, Noah Smith, to give Tulio the option of just providing a killer pass between the two defenders. I think Tulio maybe just held onto the ball a touch too long. Yeah, it was gone. He just stumbled at the last, and then he was left with no option but to try the scoop. In the end, the attack fell flat, but some open space that the Mariners can exploit.
Rue. Theoharis. Christian Theoharis with a dipping shot there, which was well collected by Macklin Freak, looking for his first A-League goal in 5 years. As Christian Theoharis did end the goal drought in the Cup against Bali United a couple of weeks ago. Smith lining it up, and the former Brisbane Raw man almost produced a spectacular opening goal for the Mariners. But it was Macklin Freak, who's in some wonderful form this season, with another big save.
Well, a great strike from Noah Smith that produces a freak of a save from that man, Macklin Freak. At full stretch, he had to be so sharp. Wonderful strike on goal from Smith.
The Mariners are warming to the task here. Tulio Barrero says he wasn't strong enough. And then the flag goes up for offside. So it was a moot point anyway, but there's been some further inspection had he not been. Gee, it's tight.
It's very tight. But it's his first touch there. The ball just gets caught under his feet, so his first touch isn't where he needs it to be. And then he loses his balance. There's that strike again from Smith. Look at that from Freak. He was taking no chances. Wonderful action.
Again, the Mariners looking promising. Brisbane able to snuff out the opportunity. Truant sliding into the path of Henry Hoare, who's gliding across to that right edge. Tight angle for Hoare. Mile Uznic hits it towards the back post where Berenguer was stationed, but well defended by Stormroo. And the Mariners off again through Tulio. Early ball in front of Alu Kuol. And Alu has his first league goal on his return to the Central Coast Mariners. And he's got two in just a few days. And the Mariners are back level.
Well, the name on the score sheet will be Kuol, but the creator supreme, that man Tulio, his awareness, his execution of this pass on the Harvey Norman replay is absolutely outstanding. Look at the weight on that ball. Kuol gets it under control with his first touch, second touch, clinical, magnificent Mariners goal. Tulio, what a player.
Well, Mark Jackson said the Mariners this season had to replace the 36 league goals and 15 assists that had departed the club in the form of Cummings, Nkololo and Silvera. He asked his strikers who is going to step up after the defeat in Perth last week. Well, hasn't Alu Kuol stepped up to the plate? 2 goals in 5 days. And the Mariners here at home have something to push forward with. Just their second goal of the Isuzu Ute A-League this season.
Well, any goal scorer will tell you when you're in a bit of a drought, all you need is one. The floodgates to open. So is the case this week for Kuol.
And he might have another one, Alu.
Wonderful first touch and awareness on the spin. Knew exactly where he was trying to nestle the ball. it is such a confidence thing, scoring goals. Look at that for a first touch and spin. And then he has the composure to try and side foot it. Didn't quite get the radar right. But it is such a confidence thing, scoring goals. There can be times they look like mini goals. There can be times they look wide open. It's great for the Mariners because the big question has been where are the goals going to come from. Could just be the answer right there.
Big shoes to fill. Jason Cummings. Alu Qual, he was a fan favourite. As Henry Hoare has his path to goal blocked off by Nisbet. Beronge scored the opener for Brisbane. O'Shea. And Smith. Good touch there to Farrell. Just looked to open up. Trying to win a foul. Nisbet. And that's a turnover which could help Brisbane. Attempted backheel from Beronge. Wasn't a bad idea, but the Mariners are off again. Storm Rue looks up, sees Alu Qual, but Trewin was there on that occasion to disrupt that early delivery.
It was almost a carbon copy, wasn't it? This time it was Storm Rue on the ball, not Tulio. The space was there to bend it in behind Scott Neville.
Beronge, he has some options here. He's got Hoare and Miller-Jusnic out wide, and he just dallied. And Nisbet came in and pinched it back. So the Mariners with the running here. And so we head towards half-time. Theoharis rode the challenge. Still going, Christian Theoharis. And then he goes down in the box. Penalty, Mariners. Beautiful footwork from Christian Theoharis to earn a vital spot kick for the Central Coast.
Kai Trewin, the guilty party. It was all down to the footwork, as you said, and the intent and the driving run from that man there. Christian Theoharis. He gets past Trewin. He's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. As soon as you stick your leg out like that, you are putting yourself at the hands of the referee. I don't think this will be overturned. That's a clear-cut penalty, as you'll see. Theoharis, what a driving run that is. Full of intent to get himself one-on-one with Macklin Freak.
There's not much argument from Kai Trewin, is there? So VAR is having a look. That's Lara Lee today. And it would seem that she'll give this the all clear. And Marco Tullio, who has been banging in the goals for fun in the AFC Cup, scored so many, is now the Mariners' all-time leading goal scorer in Asia. Well, he thought he was going to stand over it and convert, but Jonathan Barrero has been asked to come over and have a look, Mossy.
Well, this surprises me, because I think Theoharis has put the ball.
Oh, you know what? Theoharis sort of looks for it here at the end, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He leaves his leg in there. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, you can see there Trewin actually puts his foot to ground as if to pull out of it. This could well be overturned. On second look, yep, there it is.
It's a great spot from the VAR, isn't it?
Fantastic. They come in for their criticism, but I think they've got this one right.
Jonathan Barrero overturns the penalty decision. And we must say that is terrific use of the VAR, which is often criticised. But Kai Trewin, he gets away with one there. The Mariners will feel aggrieved, but Phil Moss, you felt on that replay that it was the correct call.
It's the correct call. I've got no doubt. Lara Lee take a bow in the VAR bunker. There it is there. Kai Truhan, you can see that he completely pulls out of the challenge because he knows he's been beaten. And it's Christian Theoharis who leaves a leg in there looking for the foul. And what that does really is brings into sharp focus Christian Theoharis. If you don't beat that man, he had Noah Smith on the outside of him to roll the ball into his path, and he didn't take that option. And the chance has gone begging.
More frustration for the home side. And yellow card comes out, goes the way of Theoharis. Now, is this for the challenge just there, or was it for the incident in the box? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, certainly there. I was wondering whether he was coming back initially for, if you're saying it's no penalty, whether you're giving him a card for diving, but no, it wasn't. It was just for the leg on Coletti.
Well, it's a good point you make, Ben, because had he been booked for simulation and then produced a foul like that, which he may not well have done had he copped that yellow card for the penalty incident, but if he had, it could be 2 quick-fire yellow cards and off the field for Theoharis.
Well, it's a discussion that we can't have here, Mossy. We don't have the time, but we'll leave that for the podcast during the week. Because it has been a topic of conversation this weekend. We had that incident on Friday night with Nick Pennington where he got booked for diving where he probably didn't dive. So,
well, the only thing I'll say is that Theoharis, in his defence, there was contact, but it was a contact that he initiated. So going to ground, there was contact that put him on the ground, if you like. The question mark was who initiated that contact, and it was a judge, quite rightly, to be Theoharis, not Kai Truhan.
So 5 minutes of regulation time remaining in this first half in Gosford. Brisbane scoring the opener. Now, Mariners fans would say it was shrouded in controversy, or some would, but it looked to be the correct call. And then the reply came by Alu Kual. Now it is Mile Jusnic trying to dazzle. It spills for Truhan. Here is the moment. Tom Waddingham, the star of the Australia Cup for Brisbane Roar, finally has a goal in the Isuzu Ute League. And look at what it means to the 18-year-old.
Well, only football can produce moments like this. On the Harvey Norman replay, Truhan goes from potential 0 to hero, delivering a ball for Tom Waddingham to tap it home off the far post. Mile Jusnic drives at the defence. The ball comes off Noah Smith into the path of Truhan, who delivers it to the feet of his strike partner. And that is a great retort from Brisbane Roar after only moments earlier potentially going behind. Long may you smile, son. You have announced yourself on this A-League scene this season without a doubt.
Scholarship contract with Brisbane Roar. I sense Ross Aloisi will be keen to get that upgraded ASAP. So keen to give him an opportunity in the Australia Cup. Didn't he start? 4 goals, 3rd appearance in the A-League. And he grabs his first goal, and it was a delightful finish. And he may get another chance here. Tom Waddingham. He was just thwarted by Farrell. Well, how good's this? We knew we were going to be in for a game of football here, Mossy. 2 sides that love to play football. Free-flowing, fast-attacking football. We've got 3 goals in the first half. Now Theoharis looking for a response for the Mariners. Tulio being harassed by Waddingham, who's got that burst of adrenaline after scoring his first A-League men's goal. Tulio. Smith sees the run of Farrell, deflects for Kual. Altak's pass, will it be tracked down by Theoharis? In the shadows of the byline.
being patient in possession here, the Mariners, but they need some forward movements.
Nisbet's pass picked off by Truan, and now Brisbane with a chance to bounce and go. Paul, did he get enough of a tug? He didn't. And links with Mile Jusnic. O'Shea, space in front of him. Lots of Mariners in the way. Nisbet's pass. It was pinpoint to Farrell. Just allowed a little bit of space. Now Tulia. Here's Qual. Here come the Mariners again. Christian Theoharis waiting for the cavalry. Stormroo arriving, and unfortunately that attacking raid from the Mariners is going to go unrewarded in the form of a corner, as it's come off Stormroo last.
Well, that last two actions from Theoharis looked a little bit tired for me, a little bit sloppy. Great position here. Look at Stormroo, absolutely motoring down the outside, and that is just not good enough from Theoharis, player of his quality. It's a tired, sloppy pass. We'll be looking forward to a breather at half-time, no doubt. A great opportunity for the Mariners gone begging.
Ballard. It's a whistle here.
But you called it, Ben, and let's not let it pass us by. That pass from Josh Nisbet to release Jacob Farrell from deep in their defensive third was absolutely fantastic.
That not so from Caltac and Brisbane right before half-time. Here goes Henry Hoare. Caltac shut the door on that shot, but it will be a corner here for the Raw.
Well, he opened the door slightly, didn't he, Caltac? And then he jammed it shut with this tackle here. What a fantastic defender's tackle inside his own box. Such a competitor.
Danny Vukovic trying to marshal his defence here. They cannot concede a third before half-time. Jonathan Barrero just wants to have a chat. Here we go. O'Shea's in-swinger. Wanted away by Rue. The bounce deceived Coletti. And Farrell able to find Nisbet, who was making the forward run. Still plenty of time left in this half. 4 minutes of additional time, and that's due to a couple of VAR checks in this first half.
Well, I'm sure the players will want a break, but we don't need a break, surely. Keep it going. This has been a brilliant half of football.
Well, they can just have a breather, freshen up those legs. Look at that. Expected goals up over 1 apiece. There's some games where you don't get that kind of XG over 90 minutes. And there's plenty of chances that won't go down as XG as well in this first half. You do not want to miss the second half of this one. The crescendo to a really exciting week of Isuzu Ute A-League action. Some staggering results. Incredible score lines. Nisbet.
Could be a tipster. It's so hard to pick a result this season.
Paul overhits that floated pass over the top, and it's just looking like a bit of a tired end to this first half. Tulio's going to have to rush down and put the pressure on Macklin Freak. But despite the entertainment, the chances they've created in this first half, the Mariners right now staring down the barrel of the worst start to a season by the defending champions. Still got plenty of time, though, to turn it around in the second half. Kaltak and Rue. Delivery, not a bad option there, looking for Qual. Theoharis, got a bump from Coletti. Referee playing advantage, and Tullio driving it straight down the middle. Theoharis still down. May have copped a bit of a shoulder in the ribs as he went to ground.
Well, I think it's more about the landing. It was an awkward landing. There was obviously contact.
And Coletti does get a yellow card. That's the collision. Coletti into the book, right on the stroke of half-time. And Jonathan Barrero says that will do us for the first half of action here in Gosford. And what an entertaining half that was. Florent Berenguer opening the scoring. Alu Qual responded. And then the 18-year-old Tom Waddingham, he scored his first Isuzu Ute A-League goal. And that means at half-time in Gosford, Central Coast Mariners 1, Brisbane Roar 2. Now let's get some reaction with Glenn.
Yeah, got Tom Aldred alongside me. Tom, obviously a really crazy first half. A lot of talking points at both ends. I suppose pleasingly from you guys, you had to do a lot of defending, but you're going ahead.
Yeah, no, we've had to do a significant amount of defending. They've caught us a few times on the counter, and yeah, we've dealt with them within reason, but yeah, it's definitely a threat of theirs.
Bit of patience maybe from the Mariners, a bit of frustration creeping in. What do you guys need to do in the second half?
Yeah, well, we've got the lead, so obviously we need to defend the lead, and there's opportunities for us going forward. I feel like it's quite an open game, and opportunities for us, so yeah, next goal's key.
Thanks, Tom.
Cheers, thank you.
Don't go anywhere. It is a powder keg in Gosford. The Brisbane Roar lead 2-1 the second half. Not too far away, along with the Hungry Jacks halftime show.
Is the superstar of the Liberty A-League winners and the Isuzu Ute A-League winners. Every minute, every game, live only on Paramount Plus. Sign up today for a 7-day free trial from customers only. Season season live, visit ParamountPlus.com for all details. That's every round, every game live only on Paramount Plus. Round 4 is here, and it is great to see so many excited young fans with us here today, proudly playing their Liberty A-League games. Remember, Youth age over 16 are eligible for a free Liberty A-League pass that provides them free entry to all the Liberty A-League women's regular season matches played in Australia. Head to aleagues.com.au/L18 and register now.
resilient. I got more skills than a Brazilian. They can't stop what's already done. I'll always be number one. They say I'm moving too fast, oh yes indeed. I see them putting work trying to get to me. They envy me, I'm who they want to be.
Welcome back to Industry Group Stadium in Gosford. The second half not too far away, but this is the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Brisbane Roar lead the Central Coast Mariners 2-1, but there have been controversies at both ends of the ground. Florin Berenguer scoring after the ball may or may not have stayed in play. Tom Waddingham also on the score sheet for Brisbane not long after Christian Theoharis had a big penalty shout overturned by the VAR, and ultimately the on-field referee Jonathan Barrero. So many highlights. Let's get back to the commentary team, Phil Moss and Ben Homer.
Thank you, Glenn. Yeah, what an absolute thrilling first half you're going to see here on the Harvey Norman highlights. Phil Moss, Brisbane with a 2-1 lead. This is how they open the scoring.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And didn't give it up, but the Mariners stopped. They didn't play to the whistle here, and that is what cost them dearly in the end. It was Berenguer, who we know has all quality. Mile Jusnic just didn't give it up, and he's quick enough, and that ball was definitely still in play, or the whole of the ball, the whole of the sphere of the ball was not out of play. Look at this from Tulio. This is absolutely brilliant. His awareness to see the pass, then his thought process to play the pass, his execution and weight of the pass, absolutely outstanding. Alu Kuol, great first touch to set him on his way. Second touch was clinical and a well-deserved equaliser for the home side.
And the Mariners, they probably had the better of the chances for that period. After Alu Kuol scored, they also had a penalty. This was the incident. Christian Theoharis goes to ground. Penalty awarded, but it was overturned by the VAR.
Yeah, well, he fooled Jonathan Barrero, but he didn't fool Lara Lee in the VAR bunker. And she called Jonathan Barrero over to have a look, and it was the right decision in the end. VAR wins the day. And then Tom Waddingham, who is rapidly putting his name in the books for all the right reasons in this A-League men's competition, with the go-ahead goal off the boot of Kai Truan, who delivered the ball to his foot, and they deserved that goal as well.
Mossy, 2-1 lead for Brisbane. Deserved?
I think so. On the way to chance. Look, the Mariners have had some of the more gilt-edged chances, but Brisbane have had the Lions' share of possession, as you can see there, 60-40. And their shots on goal, okay, it's not as many as the Mariners, but the two that are on target are in the back of the net, and that's what counts.
Well, let's have a look now at the all-important Paramount Plus Player Index, Mossy. Do you believe that Tom Waddingham, with that key goal, he's done enough to get over the top of Florin?
No, that surprises me a little bit. I think you'd have Berenguer. My gut tells me that Berenguer has had more involvement than Waddingham. Very good goal, taken very, very well by the youngster. But Berenguer for me and Tulio for the Mariners, I think is richly deserving of being there. And Kuol has been good for the Mariners as well. He's been threatening, he's got his goal as well. And Kai Truan's been in the headlines at both ends of the pitch.
Alu Kuol, what have you liked about the job he's done today?
Well, I think he's now playing with some confidence. He's got his goal midweek. Look at that, for a drag of the ball to set Tulio up for that chance. And this one here, that is the sign of a confident goal scorer. The first touch, he knew exactly where he wanted to put it, and he knew what the second touch was going to be, and that was in the back of the net. And that is a player who is starting to find his rhythm and his confidence in front of goal.
Well, Alu Kuol will be looking for another goal or two in the second half to get the Mariners over the line. What a weekend it's been in the Isuzu Ute A-League. Massive results yesterday, especially for the Jets, their first win of the season. Sydney FC, though. 5-1 over Adelaide, and then a thriller in Melbourne with the 3-3 draw.
Yeah, certainly the Sydney turnaround. I mean, that's the new manager syndrome strikes again. We didn't see that performance coming from Adelaide. Certainly didn't see it coming from Sydney either. They hadn't scored a goal all season, and they had 3 in 30 minutes away from home at Coopers, which is not an easy place to go.
And this is coming up in a fortnight. Oh, there's some mouth-watering fixtures. You look at the F3 derby, Jets v Mariners. Jets playing well under Robbie Stanton. Mariners, where are they going to be at in a fortnight's time? And then the Sydney derby. So what a weekend we have to look forward to in a fortnight. But don't forget, next weekend, international break, there's also some Liberty A-League action. And Glenn Lauder, it's been a special day in Gosford with the doubleheader today.
Yeah, it certainly has been, Benny. 5,098 days since the Mariners last hosted a double-header of A-League men's and women's football. That was back in 2009. Today, the Liberty A-League women's team took on the Brisbane Roar, and it finished 1-1. Rolla Badawiya got the early goal for the Mariners, and it was about 3 minutes of wild action at both ends because Aisha Norrie equalised for Brisbane just 2 minutes later. And then the Mariners at the other end of the field had a penalty, and Brisbane goalkeeper came up big here. Jordan Sipowicz with the save, denying Isabel Gomez. So the Mariners couldn't capitalise on that. It finished 1-1. So the Mariners and Brisbane 4th and 6th respectively, and 2 more games in the Isuzu in the Liberty A-League. Win for Melbourne, victory over Newcastle, and Melbourne City and Western Sydney underway at the moment. That's it for the halftime show. Hungry Jack's halftime show is all over. Second half here in Gosford isn't too far away. It's Brisbane 2, the Central Coast Mariners 1.
This year's Alex Tobin Medal is brought to you by Isuzu Ute, awarded to the best player of the season as nominated by the Paramount ANZ football team. The winner of the prestigious award will receive $10,000. Plus, the Isuzu Ute Alex Tobin medalist will nominate a junior football club of choice to win a brand new, top-of-the-range Isuzu D-Max or 7-seat MUX to be announced during the grand final. To stay in touch with the leaderboard, tune in for weekly updates at your home of football.
Welcome back to Gosford, where it's Brisbane Roar leading the Mariners 2-1. Let's hear from the Mariners camp with Glenn Lauder.
Thanks, Benny. Got the head of athletic development, better known as the Vibe manager, Andy Bernal. Andy, the Vibe wasn't great in the first half, given a couple of controversial moments. And I suppose now it's about how the team reacts. What did you guys make of the first 45?
First 45, we gifted them 2 goals. A couple of decisions didn't go our way. I'm not going to really expand on that because I'll probably get myself cancelled for life within Australian football. So, look, we have the ability and the players to come back in this second half and win it. So that's kind of the key. We've got to work hard on the back of a couple of games in the last week. But we don't do tired at this club. If you're tired or you complain, you can leave. The boys are going to give everything they have and turn this game around.
Great, thanks, Andy.
Okay, thank you.
Some strong words there from Andy Bernal with Glenn Lauder on the sideline. The Mariners desperate to turn around a 3-match losing run to begin the new season in the league. And they're going to have to come from behind if they are to win here in Gosford in match day 4. But Phil Moss, they've got the quality, no pun intended, to do it.
You know, they certainly have. And they showed in the first half they're creating chances. So there's more goals in this game, both ends. You know, Brisbane are good for their lead as well. Some really, really strong words there from Andy Bernal. Birchie, real character of Australian football. If you're tired or fatigued, you can leave if you use it as an excuse. No grey areas.
Well, it has been a big week for the Mariners. And Brisbane just playing with a little bit of fire there. Mariners press coming from everywhere. But Brisbane able to evade it. And Mile Jusnic is caught offside, which gives us a chance just to mention that Corey Brown substituted off at halftime. Anthony Burke-Gilroy comes on. Now, he's the new signing, only signed during the week. Now, that was because Ross Aloisi was desperate for some fullback reinforcement with the injuries that they've got at the moment. Aaron Reardon, Jack Hingett, Louis Zabala, all injured currently. And Corey Brown, of course, underdone in terms of match fitness. He's still getting himself back to full match fitness, so 45 minutes under his belt will be a massive benefit for him moving forward. And now Anthony Burke-Gilroy gets his chance. He was actually training with the Newcastle Jets during the pre-season, and then when he didn't pick up a contract there, Brisbane were very keen to get him on their books as soon as they could. Paul punches this long straight to Macklin Free.
Yeah, well, that's what they can't afford to do, and that's give the ball away cheaply. Forced into aimless passes. The week they've had, there's 2 ways to get and keep energy, and that's score goals, keep the ball.
Coletti. Berenguer, Caltac came flying. The ball is going to bounce nicely for Waddingham. Paul had to use his body at the last moment because Waddingham was just sneaking up behind him. Well, Mark Jackson has spoken this week about the fight that he saw from his side in Bali. He said they didn't play the football that ideally I would like, but they showed some fight. He also has mentioned that they really need that leader up front to fill the boots of Jason Cummings, that showman. And at the moment, we haven't quite seen that player emerge for the Mariners. Maybe it is an Alu Kuol with his 2 goals recently, and this is a whistle which was a little delayed going the way of Brisbane.
Yeah, here it is here. Brian Caltac getting caught in possession of the ball. He does just clip the ankle.
And for Mariners fans that are already frustrated, just kicks them off a little more as it's a strong header away by Paul. Mile Jusnic into Smith. And now Paul, ricochet, back to Vukovic. And Danny Vukovic looking to release. Tullio, who's in behind Marco Tullio. He's got 3 Brisbane Roar players in front of him. And in the end, the numbers won out.
Well, it worked out fortuitously for Tulio. When Danny Vukovic released that ball, you could see on his face he was disappointed with the trajectory of the ball. It skidded into open space, caught the Brisbane Roar backline flat-footed. Tulio almost made them pay. Still got that open feel about it.
Thea Harris. Re-energised after the half-time break.
Here's that ball from Vukovic. You see he sort of throws his head back and punches the air, but in the end it works out quite nicely.
Did he need more teammates up in support, Mossy? Is that a sign of maybe a little bit of tiredness, dare I say it, for the Mariners? Because it was basically Tulio all on his own.
Yeah, but it was a quick transition by Vukovic. He didn't really give... He spotted the early ball, so he went for it. So you can't really blame the other players for not being up there in support in a transition moment as quick as that.
Freak under some pressure. Build that pass to O'Shea. Burke Gilroy. Berenguer. Coletti. Truan just glides into some space, and now Paul v Miller-Jusnic. Gee, that's a big tip for Nathan Paul up against the flyer. He can run over 36 kilometres an hour, Nikola Miller-Jusnic, when he's going at full speed. Good win from Tulio. Paul picks up the scraps. Tulio allows it to run on for Smith, who says, get in the box, Marco, and I'll deliver. But in the end, it was Neville who swept it away.
Didn't amount to anything, but just a wonderful little give and go between Berenguer and Jay O'Shea, 2 silky players on the ball in midfield.
Space opens up there for Stormroo. Slowed the attack, the pass just behind Thea Harris, but Roo back onto it, delivering. Qual needed another step on the step ladder to get his head on that.
It was good play by Roo down the right-hand side with the underlapping run. And he just pulls out onto his left foot, delivers across. It was decent. Ball was still going to have to generate a bit of power if he did connect with it with his head.
Truan scoops it into the path of Coletti. The in and the away on Farrell. Miller-Jusnic for Berenguer. This is nice from Brisbane. Poor Berenguer. Shut down by Kaltak. Barrero with some good footwork to get out of the way of this Brisbane attack with now Henry Hoare. Hoare one way and then the other. And Barrero looks across to his assistant, and the decision is a throw.
Well, I'm not even going there, whether that ball was fully over the line or not.
You might need the lines again, Mossy.
There was a question mark, no doubt. The corner would have been more dangerous than a throw-in.
Great win from Thea Harris. Can the Mariners move it quickly? Tulio ensures that Burke Gilroy, in his first 8.5 minutes back at Brisbane Roar, goes into the book.
Tulio does brilliantly here. Look, he's looking round for the defender. He knows exactly where he is. Draws the foul. Burke Gilroy, his first involvement in this game is to incur the wrath of Jonathan Barrero.
Three Brisbane players, as you can see, with yellows. One of them, Coletti, and he's shooting here. And potentially could win a corner, and does.
That ball is definitely over the line. But that's good pressing from Brisbane, hurrying Central Coast Mariners in possession in their own defensive third, winning the ball back high up the pitch. To your point earlier, Ben, about Ross Aloisi's style of football and his principles and his philosophy, you can see it there. It's going to take time to become a well-oiled machine, there's no doubt about that. It certainly looks effective for them.
Jay O'Shea clearing the space for this corner. Floats it in to the box where Kaltak was there. And here's Brian Kaltak again putting his boot through it. Just noticed on that corner that heavy strapping tape as O'Shea doesn't affect his passing. Hoare. O'Shea. Berenguer. Stabbed in by O'Shea. Mile Uznic improvising with the shot. That would have been quite spectacular.
Well, that's the word, improvisation. He was never going to get power on it to trouble Danny Vukovic. The ball in from Jay O'Shea. You can see him take it on the chest there. He's hoping for Vukovic to be off his line, but he wasn't.
Meanwhile, the Mariners rushing down the other end. You just cannot take your eyes off it. And Smith, he jigged when he should have jagged, and the pass from Tulio rolls over the byline.
Just on a different wavelength there, but when you've got a Marco Tulio in your squad, in your team, you know he's got the ball and he's facing the target. You've really just got to run at the target and he'll find you.
Well, if you're loving this match of football, then you are going to absolutely love Unite Round. One city, 3 stadiums, 24 A-Leagues teams. Unite Round is coming to Sydney this January, the 12th to the 14th of January. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. So make sure you get online, grab your tickets. It is going to be a wonderful celebration of football as Alu Kual forces Coletti to make the challenge. He's off, and Brisbane are down to 10. Well, how a match can twist and turn in an instant.
Well, Joe Coletti can have no arguments here. He knows he's on a yellow card. It's a cynical foul. He certainly disrupts the run and the momentum of Alu Kual, who does really well to get at him. As you can see him turn here, the ball is away from Joe Coletti. He's already committed. He'll look back on that and understand that that is an error of judgment from him in the situation that he was in, Joe Coletti. And now Brisbane down to 10.
Very intriguing to watch what happens here. And this is so crucial, that holding midfield position for Brisbane, the way they play. So what does Ross Aloisi do here? Does he look to his bench? Does he make some structural changes out there? He's got Taras Gamulka on the bench. He would be the likely option to plug that hole. Do you sacrifice a Waddingham? In the meantime, Dylan Wenzel-Halls, former Brisbane Roar player, made his debut in the league with the Roar. He comes on. Harry Steele also onto the field. He'll be desperate to grab a goal in the league, Dylan Wenzel-Halls. He scored a couple in the Cup. They've got an attacking free kick here. Kaltak with some contact on Burke Gilroy, which was given the all clear. Ball's flung in there. And goal kick is the decision. Look at Marco Tulio. There's a problem in the box for Brisbane, but Marco Tulio, he's still screaming.
Well, he's blowing up big time, isn't he? He was convinced that his team should have had a corner there. Here's a delivery from Tulio. Let's see. I think he's got a decent argument there. It looks like it comes off the head of Tom Aldred. Still a goal kick it is. But back to your point, What does Ross Aloisi do here? Well, they've got the lead to protect. Still a while to go. Half an hour plus injury time. So no doubt the mindset won't change, but looks as though he is going to go to his bench with a double sub.
So it's definitely Taras Gamulka who's coming on. Luciano Trani just giving both himself and Ryland Brownlee their final instructions. You may recall the name Brownlee. His dad Royce playing in the A-League. First father-son to play for Brisbane Roar in this competition. And Ryland, just 16 years of age, going to make his 4th appearance off the bench. Steele. Gets it towards Farrell. Mile Jusnic. Berenguer. Mile Jusnic. First time ball, Waddingham sprinting after it. He's looking fatigued, isn't he, Tom Waddingham? It's going to come back for the free kick. For the challenge on Mile Jusnic. But you just wonder whether that could be the final involvement for the young striker.
That was cynical from Tullio, just clipping the heel of Mile Jusnic. It's a dangerous challenge.
Mossy, Marco Tullio, as we understand, we think he hasn't gone into the book. The way Jonathan Barrero is going, he's writing something in the notepad, but based on your reaction, you think it probably should have been.
It should have been a yellow.
Changes on the way here for Brisbane. 3-1. So Brownlee, Parsons, Gamulka. Alex Parsons actually scored here in Gosford in Brisbane's last win over the Mariners more than 2 years ago. It was a 4-0 win that night. He's just getting his final instructions. Taras Gamulka goes on, so Waddingham comes off. Mile Jusnic departs as well. So too does Henry Hoare. So the 2 flyers on each wing depart, and we'll just have a quick glance at how Brisbane are going to play it from here. Gamulka going into that holding midfield role as we expected alongside O'Shea. And it looks as though Parsons and Brownlee on each wing and then Berenguer in the middle.
Yeah, that's right. Ross Aloisi trying to shore up the stocks in midfield, central midfield. You don't want to give that away. You're protecting your lead. Some fresh legs as well.
Oh, here's a problem. Straight off. Harry Steele given a straight red card. Mariners fans and the bench are stunned. Mark Jackson cannot believe it. And no sooner did they have the man advantage, they've now lost it. And it's 10-on-10 in Gosford. What drama!
He couldn't write this script. Here's the replay. Gee, you can't have any arguments with that. I'm sorry, Harry Steele. Your studs are raised. It's shin high. You collect Jay O'Shea's shin. If anything, if there's any defence whatsoever, it may be that Berenguer clipped Harry Steele on the way down.
He's refusing to go, Harry Steele. Now, his argument, Mossy, will be it's a glancing blow. Do you agree with that argument or not?
No, I don't. His studs are raised and it's shin high. You know, they're leg breakers. What I'm wondering is whether the contact from Berenguer before the challenge had any influence on Harry Steele's movement.
Yes. A very fair point, Phil Moss. And VAR is still checking. Harry Steele absolutely devastated. He's only just come onto the field off the bench. So this really hurts the Mariners because they've got fresh legs after a big week of travel. And he is gone. And that's exactly what he looked to be arguing, was that he was given a push here.
It's just there. It's the contact there from Berenguer that I think has an impact on Harry Steele's movement. And once his studs are raised, that's the argument. Were his studs raised because of that contact from Berenguer and he lost his balance?
And your view on that? Do you think it reduces it to a yellow card, or are you happy with the red? Where do you sit after watching those replays? This shows you how tough it is to be a referee,
put it this way.
doesn't it?
Put it this way. There was contact with Jay O'Shea's shin. Harry Steele's studs were in the air. Jonathan Barrero gave it as a red card. It's not a howler. So I'm happy that it hasn't been overturned by VAR.
But you're saying if it had been a yellow, you wouldn't have been arguing for it to be upgraded to a red. Oh, sorry, Mossy.
Putting words in my mouth now, Ben. Getting me in a lot of trouble.
I'm just trying to clarify. But one thing it does show is that decisions referees have to make in split seconds are extremely challenging, and that's where Barrero has gone. Nisbet.
What I'm pleased about, Ben, I have to say, is that the referee made an on-field decision. And given the footage that we saw, I don't think that it was a howler for VAR to get involved and overturn it.
Fair enough. Farrell. Tulio. Well, they've got to put it out of their heads here, the Mariners. 3 first-half goals, 2 second-half red cards. Chaos here in Gosford. And everyone's just got to get their heads back in the game.
Well, it's fantastic, isn't it? You can't write the script for this sort of stuff. It's football at its rawest. And one thing you know about the Mariners, they won't go away.
That's their motto. Won't back down. Backs against the wall here. Down 2-1. 10 on 10. There's going to be just a little more space out there. Tulio looking for Qual. And just in the end, ran out of ideas. Truant. It's an extra incentive for the Mariners to score some goals, not just to get themselves a point or 3 this season, but also the Master Foods Meals for Goals initiative. Maybe there's one coming here. It's going to see 100 meals donated for every goal scored by the Central Coast Mariners at home during the Isuzu Ute A-League and Liberty A-League season. So there's 200 meals donated already today across Liberty A-League, Isuzu Ute A-League for the Central Coast. What a fantastic initiative between the Mariners and Master Foods. And long may it continue as Caltac searches for Wenzel Halls. win probability from here. 80% Brisbane's way. The Boffins just giving the Mariners a 3% chance of victory as Gamulka. Almost an own goal of Paul. Well, they didn't deserve that, the Central Coast, and Danny Vukovic was sharp at the near post.
Well, it's about the only thing missing from this game this afternoon is an own goal. But Vukovic had to be sharp here. You can see that deflection there. That was just sneaking inside that near post. A very good fingertip save by Vukovic down low, quickly to his left.
O'Shea well weighted again, but Aldred slightly overran it. Wenzel Halls going to keep it inside the line. Dylan Wenzel Halls has won 3 from 3 when he's come up against his old side Brisbane, but they're the only side he hasn't scored against in the Isuzu Ute A-League. Maybe today's the day. Today's the afternoon for one of these Mariners to make themselves a hero in front of the home crowd. Tulio looks to place it. Freak with the save. Burke Gilroy with the safety first option. And here comes a corner for the Mariners. Who is it that's going to stand up here and take this game?
Well, we said they weren't going to go away, the Mariners, and they're proving just that. Tulio with a good strike. Wasn't enough to really trouble Macklin Freak. He got some purchase behind it. He's going to open his hips and find that far post.
Stormroot with the outswinger. Tulio blocked by Burke Gilroy. Brisbane getting bodies in front of the ball. Farrell. Tulio keeps it in. Wenzel Halls puts it in the back of the net. Well, Mariners fans would love the VAR to have a look at this. They'd be very intrigued after what happened in the first half. But it's pretty clear, Phil Moss.
I'm happy to call that one 100% out. But gee, this game, honestly, it's the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it?
Whatever happens to one team seems to happen to the other.
And we've still got another 20 odd minutes plus injury time.
Balla just toyed with by the Brisbane midfield. Farrell tracks it down. Brisbane Roar trying to end this domination the Mariners have had against them of late. Mariners have won the last 4 straight. It's been more than 2 years since Brisbane tasted victory over the Central Coast. But there's some nervy minutes remaining for their fans. Still so much time. 10 on 10. If you missed it, Joe Coletti sent off for Brisbane Roar, second yellow card. Defensive midfielder for Brisbane, and then Harry Steele, defensive midfielder for the Mariners. He gets sent off. Straight red card for a challenge on Jay O'Shea. And here comes another change for the Central Coast. So Alu Qual, their goal scorer, is going to be replaced by Will Wilson, the Box Hill United product.
And here's the goal from Qual. Great first touch, clinical second touch on the end of a wonderful pass by Marco Tulio. He can be happy with his week's output. No, he won't be happy today if they don't get the points.
Early ball in front of Parsons. Stormaroo, robust challenge, and here he is, the former Melbourne victory man, Will Wilson, curving that pass. Wenzel Halls couldn't track it down.
I think he would have been offside anyway had he reeled that one in. Wilson just looking for some support there. Broke very quickly. Great challenge by Stormaroo to set the attack up. I sense there is more drama ahead. I don't think 2-1 is how this game is going to end somehow.
How many more goals have you got on your abacus, Mossy? Oh! Here comes a throw here for Brisbane, it would seem. Such a willing contest, this one. Youngsters going at it. Parsons v Farrell on that occasion. Here's the 16-year-old Brownlee taking on Farrell. Trying to crawl with the ball. Jacob Farrell, gee whiz. He's put in a shift again today, and look at him out on his feet. 15 minutes to go.
Well, that's right, 15 minutes to go. This is where the week that the Mariners have had will really start to show. If they don't get a goal soon, I wonder where that extra energy is going to come from.
Well, they've got to think about the break, don't they? Got a couple of weeks until they take on the Jets. International break coming up. Those that aren't involved, of course.
Speaking of that international break, how good the Socceroos on home soil. Chance to play in front of their friends, family and Australian fans down in Melbourne.
And do not miss it. Network 10, Paramount Plus. A feast of football over the international break. Socceroos in action against Bangladesh and Palestine. Liberty A-League action. And Harry Steele absolutely devastated. He hasn't gone down and had a shower. He looks shattered there after his straight red card.
Yeah, look, it'll be one of those moments in time that no doubt Harry will learn from. I'm sure he'll have arguments in his own head as to why it shouldn't have been a red card.
Gamorka drives into space. Truan arrives for Brisbane. Erongier is there. He has Brownlee in the middle. The 16-year-old, has he got his first A-League goal? Not at the moment. VAR having a look. Well, that was Alex Parsons, but it was Brownlee in the box who got the touch there.
Well, I think that's a save from Vukovic too. I think he's got some fingertips on that. And if he has, that is a quite brilliant save by the veteran custodian. Have to wait for the replay to confirm that.
And he's in again here, Brownlee, but just ran away from him at the last moment. As I mentioned when he came on, his father is former Raw striker Royce Brownlee. Came up through the NPL Queensland. He actually wasn't part of the Raw system when Ross Aloisi arrived at the club, and he saw him play and said, "You're coming into the side. We're going to give you an opportunity." The Moreton Bay United product.
Well, regardless of whether it was or wasn't a save from Vukovic, it was a deft touch from Brownlee at the near post. They're not easy to execute.
No doubt he would have received so much advice off his dad down the years in the backyard.
And here it is, just into that near post. And it is a save from Vukovic. Comfortable it hasn't crossed the line as well. What a brilliant reflex save by Booker.
And that would have proved a very difficult task for the Mariners to haul in a 2-goal deficit. Still is a challenging task here. They just look tired, don't they? They didn't need to go down to 10 men. And that's a tied ball forward.
Yeah, that's right. This is where they're going to need that mental strength that Andy Burnell was talking about just after half-time with Glenn Lauder. really dig deep, find it within themselves to go through the pain barrier to find a way back into this game. Decision making becomes critical. With fatigue comes mental fatigue, and that's when decision making can let you down.
Farrell comes in on Gamulka. And Mossy, these kind of results can define a season, can't they?
Yeah, they certainly can. No sloppy challenges there. I just saw from Farrell, he needs to be very, very careful.
Don't you love that? Brownlee just giving it to Farrell there. Youngster on youngster saying, I'm here at this level now, I'm going to take it to you. And Jacob Farrell ensures the ball doesn't get to him. So Jez Lofthouse is going to make his first appearance of the season across all competitions for Florent Berenguer. He had a form of osteitis pubis that had kept him out the back end of last season into the start of the new campaign. It's wonderful to see him back on the field. He had a really good finish to the season when Brisbane changed coaches at the back end of last year before the injury. Just the kind of player that could find Brisbane a third goal to seal the points. Wilson. Neat pass, dovetailed with the run of Wenzel Halls. Farrell. There's Tulio outside. Farrell continues the run. Tulio opts for Ballard. Turned away from Gamulka on tired legs. Farrell. Wilson's header. Perilously close for the Mariners.
Wonderful work down the left-hand side, Jacob Farrell. Just when we thought he was fatiguing, he's found a moment. Look at this, cuts inside onto his right, and that's good delivery to the back post. I was waiting for the net to balloon then. Wilson just couldn't get his header on target. He got up well, held his ground. Just the radar slightly off.
And the ball spills here for Jez Lofthouse. First appearance of the season. But Nathan Paul's speed is able to stop him and his momentum on that occasion.
And strength. Once he got to that contest, Nathan Paul, there was only one winner. Very good defending from the Mariners centre half.
Parsons' delivery. No one quite there for Brisbane. He announced himself a couple of years ago in this fixture. Central Coast Stadium scored a beautiful late goal off the bench. This is Jez Lofthouse getting some free space. Wilson looks up again. Saw Wenzel Halls, but opts instead for Tulio. Wenzel Halls is in the middle. Tulio versus Truant. And has he copped a little whack in the face, Marco Tulio? That's what he thought happened. Was it the decision of a tired man to go to ground in that kind of situation?
Oh, I think there was contact there, but nothing of ill intent. It was just a natural action of hands and arms from both players.
Wilson. Tulio. Most a bit of good fortune there as the ball spilled away. Kaltak. That's a moment from Brian Kaltak. Can it spur the Mariners on? Rue floats it off the head of Lofthouse. If they score an equaliser, this home crowd will be roaring for the Central Coast. Nisbet. Wilson. And Nisbet. Rule. It was always rising, but was it rising off a Brisbane player? That's what Storm Roo's asking.
Well, I thought it was. And wouldn't that have just been the perfect script for Storm Roo to score the equaliser in his 150th for the yellow and blue? There's that contact, nothing in that. There's the strike. I thought there was a deflection there.
Certainly there was. Most certainly. Huge win from Ballard. Driving. And the tackle from Gamorka was a good one initially. Ballard, he's gone to ground. Tulio still at his feet. Ballard still down. Now the referee has a decision. How bad was the contact? And he's going to consult his assistant. There could be more pain here for Brisbane. Is it a red card?
Well, first of all, it's wonderful play from Max Ballard, driving from midfield at this stage of the game, showing great energy.
Does he go to the back pocket? No, he doesn't. It's just a yellow card. VAR will have a look. There's no doubt about it. But
here it is here, Ballard getting to his feet. I don't think that's a red card. I just think it's a badly timed challenge. His studs aren't showing. They're not up. Yeah, his studs aren't up. They're not off the ground. I'm sorry, I'm happy with the yellow card there, Ben Homer.
Mossy,
By the look on your face.
No, the thing is that every sort of half decision has not quite gone the Mariners' way, has it? And it's probably been the correct call, hasn't it? Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. But
they've just been on the wrong side. They will feel aggrieved, the Mariners fans. But you can't criticise the referee, as Phil Moss explained there. But they do have a free kick. These are the kind of moments where you make yourself a hero. On tired legs, fatigued bodies. They've had a massive week, the Mariners. Tulio surveys the options. And it's a corner. The end result for the Mariners.
well, he went low, Tulio, didn't he? In the end, it's well defended.
Probably was in the bottom corner, if not for Burke Gilroy. Tulio back into the mix-up. Aldred got himself about. Gamorka hits the header away. Now Brisbane with Lofthouse. Has Brownlee on the inside. And it was a boot from Nisbet. It spills for Gamorka. Lofthouse running away. Taking on Nisbet. Can we just let this match, Phil Moss, go on? Paramount Plus Player Index, Florent Berenguer. Top of the pops. Waddingham not far behind Jacob Farrell. What a shift from him today.
Fantastic. There's been times in this game where you think he's out on his feet and then he finds something within. It shows that he knows how to go through that pain barrier.
And Brisbane, after conceding 5 last week against Wellington, tighten the screws defensively. Here's another chance for them. Parsons. That's going to join the sauce bottles and the palm trees. So we are going to get a fair bit of stoppage time because, well, Phil Moss has a chuckle.
This game can go till midnight as far as I'm concerned.
And look at the XG. Mariners have created enough for 2 goals, say the statisticians, but they've only found 1 through Alu Kuo.
And when it's all said and done, if it stays this way, it's going to be devastation for the Mariners. Equaling the worst ever start from a defending champion with that team they're playing against today, Brisbane.
And based on goal difference, it would be the worst ever. Can they get something here? Wenzel Halls, all pinballing around Lofthouse. Saw Tulio out of the corner of his eye. Brownlee, he's away. Flag stays down. And now it comes up. The 16-year-old hoping that he have done better in that kind of situation, but in the end it didn't matter.
Yeah, he's just drifted offside there. Lofthouse was trying to get the ball out of his feet and find the angle for the pass. By the time he did, Brownlee had ventured offside, but you can see what Ross Aloisi's seen in him to bring him into the squad. Brownlee, certainly some promising signs. He's threatened since he's come off the bench, provide an impact for his side.
Mikhail Docker onto the field. We've got 7 minutes of stoppage time. Ball behind Wenzel Halls. Nisbet getting himself about. Ballard sliding in. He lost sight of the ball. He's got it back now though, Max. Tulio couldn't find an opening. You have to credit this desperation from Brisbane. They have thrown their bodies about in the box.
Absolutely brilliant defending. I think it was Kai Truant on that occasion, just throwing himself in front of Tulio, who we could see had the trigger cocked, ready to unleash. This would be a very, very gutsy victory for Brisbane Roar should they go on and get all 3 points.
Docker, the fresh legs, no whistle. And Scott Neville just saunters downfield and says, Ryland Brownlee, chase this. Brownlee sending Caltac left and right. Brownlee, and then Farrell came from behind. Those two have had a really interesting battle.
Oh, it's good defending from Caltac as well. He just held his feet, forced young Brownlee into making decisions, and by that time reinforcements had arrived.
Docker, the Brazilian. Ballard. Pass just got there to Farrell. Now it's Brownlee forced to do the defensive work. Tulio tiptoeing inside the box. Nisbet. Brisbane getting numbers in there again. Brownlee just asked to maintain possession. That'll be a Mariners throw. And now a free kick.
Here's the foul. Lofthouse on Farrell. He draws it well. The Mariners left fullback.
4 minutes of stoppage time remaining here in Gosford. Docker. He wins the free kick this time.
Great run, Docker. He really thought, if I drive at the defence, I can draw a foul. Well, they're going to have to let me go, which isn't going to happen in that part of the field. This is a free kick in a very, very good area for the Mariners.
And Danny Vukovic is up as well, the goalkeeper. He has scored in the A-League, the only goalkeeper to score in the A-League. And Vukovic almost got there. Nathan Paul got himself about. But in the end, it's over the bar.
I thought for a moment we might have been seeing a Vukovic special overhead scissors kick. You've seen him execute them plenty of times at training. That one was too high for that, of course. Time running out for the Mariners.
He scored a pen for Wellington back in the day. During his time there, I thought, here we go. Surely not. Still might get some time here. 3 minutes. You can see the desperation from the Mariners to avoid a 4-match losing run to begin the new season.
I need to get the ball forward and forward quickly into good areas.
Danny Vukovic looking forward, clipping it straight onto the head of Burke Gilroy. Ballard just out-muscled, out-manoeuvred by O'Shea. Caltac. That's not where the Mariners need it, though, at the moment. They want the ball at their feet, and Brisbane happy just to take some more time out of this game. So a win here for the Raw pushes them into the 6, and look at that. 1 point, first to 6. Newcastle just outside on 5 points. And the Mariners look at the defending champions, 0 points.
Incredible. He would have picked it. Yes, they went through a lot of change, but certainly not this sort of start to the season. 0 from 4 if it stays this way.
It's a brilliant pass from Caltac. Tullio, though, is just running on empty. He sends Marco Tullio earlier in the game, at least gets a chance to go one-on-one with Freak, but it was tired, wasn't it?
Fantastic ball from Caltac. Almost a wonderful first touch from Tullio, but you're right, it was a tired touch. A player of his quality gave Neville the chance to get across and defend the situation.
Now, it's well within Brisbane's rights to waste time. Is it being kept under check here by the referee? Look at this. This is about 20 seconds already. Of course, if you're Brisbane, certainly try and get away with as much as you possibly can. Referee allowing them to. And Lofthouse, dazzling footwork from Jez, but Nathan Paul in there to win it for the Mariners. Maybe gives them one final chance. They have to go down the other end of the field.
Well, let's take stock as we wind the clock down now. This has been a wonderful game of football.
And Brisbane finish it with a cherry on top, or are they happy to go to the corner? It's going to be a goal kick, but it's all on Jonathan Barrero's generosity now. 7 minutes have elapsed. And Brisbane bounce back from defeat in Wellington and hand the Mariners their 4th consecutive league defeat to start the season. It's the worst ever start for a defending champion in A-League men's history. Ross Aloisi's men with a great start to the new campaign. 2 wins and a draw from those first 4 matches. Certainly some controversy shrouding this one, especially in the eyes of Mariners fans, but for Raw fans, there will be no doubt they deserve these 3 competition points. It finishes on the coast. Central Coast Mariners 1, Brisbane Raw 2. So can you believe it? The Mariners without a league win since the grand final in June, where they thumped Melbourne City 6-1. The goals were raining, but they have dried up at the start of the new league season. Let's head down to Glenn Lauder.
Thanks, Benny. First A-League goal. He got it done in the Australia Cup, and now he's doing it in the Isuzu Ute A-League as well. Tom Waddingham, congratulations on your first goal, and more important, the 3 points on what was a crazy night in Gosford.
Thank you. Yeah, worked very hard, the whole team. You know, went down to 10 men. You know, pushed the whole way, and then 10 men each. So yeah, very hard win, but yeah, happy to get the result.
As a youngster coming into this squad, particularly given the way you did in pre-season and the Australia Cup, how are you fitting in?
Yeah, fitting in well, you know. Ross put confidence in me, everyone's putting confidence in me. And, you know, just go out, score goals, work hard off the ball as well.
And I suppose your job's to score goals, but your defensive unit tonight put in a really big shift, didn't they? Obviously, the Mariners had plenty of opportunities, and to take the 3 points in that context must be really pleasing.
Yeah, that's what we work on a lot, you know, pressing and working hard off the ball. So it's good to see that things are working well, which Ross has been planning. So, yeah, very happy.
Congrats, Tom. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, very happy. Tom Waddingham with his first Isuzu Ute A-League men's goal. Maxi Ballard joins us now from the Mariners. Max, appreciate you chatting to us. You know, what a crazy night in Gosford. Some controversial decisions, tackles flying in everywhere late in that game. You had so many chances as well. I think almost 3 times the amount of chances as them. What do you put it down to at the moment?
I'm not sure. We're not scoring enough, I think, but we're at the same time we're conceding sloppy goals, and it comes from individual mistakes. But like, it's a team game, and we need to be better. And it's incredibly frustrating, especially in front of our fans. We hold ourselves to a higher standard, especially after last season, and so we're very disappointed at the start of this season.
As the central midfielder, Joey Coletti gets sent off, and you think you guys must have this really important advantage, and then you lose Harry 3 minutes later.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think I've got to watch the tackles again, but it's frustrating we couldn't capitalise, and especially in front of our fans at home. We hate dropping points here. It's our fortress. It was our fortress last season, and we'll make sure to make it our fortress this season going forward.
So speaking of last season, you know, you've lost a lot of players, you've changed coaches as well, so it does take time. How far away do you think you are?
I don't think that's an excuse. I think we hold ourselves to a higher standard, and we've got an amazing culture at the club. We just need to keep believing in it, and I'm sure the results will turn our way.
Thanks for talking to us, Max.
Thank you.
Yeah, disappointed Max Ballard there. Disappointing night for the Central Coast Mariners. Don't go anywhere, because we've got all the fallout of a crazy night in Gosford on the other side of this.